Hello and welcome. My name is Paul Kostner, so I will be covering this session. We will be talking about AVR Studio 5, which is Atmel's new development platform that we're going to use for all of our AVR microcontrollers. One of the things that we have been working a lot on from our side is to see what is important for our customers and try to deliver the best support we can. We see that quite a few of the key points when customers decide which devices they want to buy or when they want to select a microcontroller, the software development tools, as well as middleware and driver and so on, to combine with hardware development tools and so on. These are key factors. These are really important and actually more important than chip costs and so on. So we have been working very hard on delivering the best tools available so that it will be easy to use and easy to get started with designs. So in the past, we have been using two different platforms to support all our AVR microcontrollers. We have had one platform called AVR Studio 4 that supported all the 8-bit devices. We have had one platform called AVR 32 Studio that supported our 32-bit devices, and now everything has been merged in together, so we're going to support all our AVR microcontrollers, both the 8 and the 32, on the AVR Studio 5 platform. So we will be able to integrate more on one side to make it easier to migrate between all the devices and so on. On the Studio 5, what we do deliver with the package that we have, you get a Visual Studio editor, the one where you actually write the code you're going to use. We embed the C compilers, both for the 8-bit and the 32-bit, inside the program, so you don't need to install any additional modules or anything. Everything comes with the package, so you have everything installed at once. We also include a standard assembler and a linker and so on. On the debugging side, we support both debugging inside the devices on the external side, if you add an external debugging tool, but you can also simulate the performance of your program directly inside the studio, and you will have the same user interface independent on if you're debugging with the debug, with an external debugger, or if you run it in the simulator. So you will get easy to start even before you finish your hardware. We also add AVR software framework. This is something we have had for the 32-bit side, but now we're adding it also on the 8-bit side. And this one helps to accelerate the development of code because you will get a lot of the modules that you need to have to make a finished product. A lot of it will be pre-done, and you get it with the studio when you download it. So on the editor side, we have added more intelligence to the editor to help you as a user to write the code. So I will talk a little bit more about this one later on. On the project side, when you download the software framework, when we wrote the presentation, we had 400 example projects. Now we have more than this. I think it's probably 450. And we keep adding new projects like this, so you will get more and more starting help with your designs. As I mentioned earlier, we do support both the 8-bit and the 32-bit on the same side, and this one integrates together with the software framework. So if you write code and using the software framework, is much easier to migrate from one family of devices to the next one because you will have the same user interface for the driver modules. One additional feature that's coming with Studio 5 is now that you will be able to get hold of online content directly from the IDE. So when you have selected the microcontroller you're going to use, you will be able to download the datasheet, the latest version, directly from the web into your project, so you can have it open and make sure that you're always looking at the latest one. You can also get the user guides for the tools that you're planning to use. You will be able to see which tools are supporting the device you want to use. And you will actually be able to link directly to our online web store and buy the tools you need for the project. On the editor side, this is a view of a typical code example from the software framework, where you can see the color coding and syntax coloring as normal. One of the things that it does support is that when you start writing your code, you will see that you get a lot of examples. It suggests, are these the functions you want to use? And this one is dynamic, so it will be follow if you include more of your own code. It will also be listed on these function listing and so on. And all this is to make it easier for you to find the items you want. And it will keep track of what functions you use the most, so they increase the likelihood that it will suggest these ones on top. So everything is done to accelerate the code writing, as well as with all the functions that we add with the software framework. We add small modules where we show what kind of variables you need to call with the function, as well as what the function does and so on. And it will help it make it easier to pick the correct one and make sure that you call the functions with the correct parameters. And if you write functions on your own, where you use the same syntax, you will get the same help when you use this one. And it makes it easier for people to work in larger teams, where one guy writes one module and the other ones are going to use it. You'll be able to see what they have implemented. And as I mentioned earlier, we link directly to our website. So when you have selected the device here, you will be able to get hold of all the information directly inside the studio, instead of having to go outside. And this is all in our goal to try to make the tools easier to use and information more easily accessible to our users. This one shows when you want to start up and create a new project. It's very easy to start with example project and then build from that on until you have a finished application. And as I mentioned, you will be able to then pick one of the example projects from a very extensive list here. You can then define a little bit how you want to select. You can say, okay, I need a 32-bit microcontroller. The list will change and you will get all the examples fitting the 32-bit microcontroller. Or you can select which board you want to start with if you have a development board already, and you will get a list that fits to this board. So it will be quite easy to get a, starting block for your project development. And for all the toolkits that we list up, it's like if you want to use this kit for your project, if you hit the shopping cart button inside Studio, it will automatically bring you to our Atmel web store, where we sell all our starter kits and ship them directly to our customers. And you will also be able to see the availability and the delivery schedules and so on for this one. One of the new tools that we are supporting with AVR Studio 5 is our new JTAG Mark III. So this is a replacement for the JTAG Mark II, which we have been using for quite some time. This one is smaller, so it's easier to carry around. It's also much faster than the previous one, so especially if you're running large projects, you will see that the download speeds are faster. It's also more robust for both for mechanical and for electronic stress. And everything is USB powered, so it's very easy to use and convenient. As I mentioned earlier, we have added a software framework inside AVR Studio 5 now. This is something we did on the UC3 in the past, but now we also added for the XMega. And the goal for us is to be able to deliver a larger part of the application to our customers, so they will have less work in making a finished application. So you are supposed to be able to get maybe 80–90% of all the coding done, and then you add your user differentiation in the end. So this is why we add things like drivers, we add complete software stacks for USB, for RF and so on inside the software framework, and then we will be able to plug it in directly and then add a small application part on top. Okay?